I'm not on. Thank you, students and families. Real quick, I'm going to call the public hearing of the Madison Elementary School District to order. And we are going to, can I have a motion to start with the Pledge of Allegiance in the public hearing, please?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, thank you. So the agenda has been amended to start with the pledge. So students, please lead us.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much, and thank you for the lovely music, and for all of you for joining us. You can go now. We might as well do the roll call. Ms. Humphries, please.
President Gresham.
Here.
Vice President Thompson.
Present.
Member Holcomb.
Present.
Member Kazi. Member Spear.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. And I'll let this clear out a little bit. Okay, so we are starting with our public hearing on the budget revision for 24-25 school year. Dr. Guerin, do you want to start, or Ms. Garvey?
President Gresham, members of the board, cabinet, and guests, Deputy Superintendent Lori Garvey will present a budget update.
Good evening, Madam President, members of the board, Dr. Guerin, and cabinet. Tonight's budget revision will be the first of two revisions for this year. Because of the way that the legislative session ended last year, when we adopted our budget, we did not have any final numbers yet from the legislature. So we did build in a cushion into the budget that was adopted. And because of that cushion that was built in and what was given, our budget exceeded you're allowed to exceed your budget by 1% of what it should be, and we're above that. So because of that, you are required to have a budget revision in December to revise it down to where it should be within limits. So that is the purpose of this revision. It also holds some special criteria. We have to post a public hearing and a budget summary, which we did do, and we completed that through the Department of Education with links on our webpage. So with that, our maintenance and operations budget is the main budget that we were required, and the only budget that we were actually required to revise. Our total budget, revised budget, is $46,353,431. That is a decrease from the adopted of $821,065. But again, we did build in some padding into that. So I just wanted to let you know some changes that you will see in the forms is that we do have an overall decrease in our ADM, which is our average daily membership, of 108 students. Now, when you look at that overall, the district is up 12.28 students, which is our Group A. So every student gets counted within Group A. Then we have our Group B students, which are considered, it's a few different categories. It's our special ed students, it's gifted students, it's the number of K-3 students that we have. We get additional monies to help with reading and for K-3 students. And in that, we have had, and you get extra weights. So in some of the special ed categories, for example, if you're a hearing impaired student, one student will count for 4.77 students because the services are more and it takes more services for that child. So we receive additional funding. So even though the Group B is down 120 students, that could actually only be 23 students total when you look at it. So we are actually up 12 kiddos, and then the when the students aren't here, we're not offering the services, so the money that would be associated with those students is also not in the budget. So while this might look like a large decrease, it actually is overall a gain of 12 students, if that makes sense. And then our override is based on our budget amount. So again, this had to be adjusted because of our estimating at the beginning of the adopted budget, which was passed in June. So that went down 108,000. Our budget balance carry forward was slightly higher than we thought it would be, so we do get to adjust our budget up for that 9,194. So overall, our budget again is that 46.3 million. At the same time, we took we did a few other things in the budget to bring it a little bit more into line. We did change the capital budget. We made a revision. It was a decrease from the adopted of 75,000. We made a budget balance carry forward adjustment, and there was a slight ADM adjustment that we made for 3,000. So the capital budget did go down 75,000 to 15,025,254. And the last fund that we brought into line with where the budget should be is our classroom site fund. And this one actually increased. The total budget is $9,572,000, and the increase came from some additional budget balance carry forward that we had some interest earnings. We are allowed to increase our budget for interest earnings in this fund. And then we had a slight ADM adjustment because when we prepare the budget, it's based on an estimated ADM, and then we adjust it to the actual as of this point in time. So the actual numbers that the district will get funded on are our 100th day, which is in January. So we will be coming back when we have our final ADM for the year and making one more final budget adjustment. But this again was to bring us into alignment with our budget limits. Are there any questions?
Thank you, Ms. Garvey. Any questions from the board? And Ms. Humphries, come back. Do we have any public comments for the public hearing? Ms. Humphries.
I have received no comments.
Thank you. Board members? All right. Thank you all for bearing with us. We are required to do these, so I will go ahead and adjourn the public hearing. And I will call to order our regular meeting of the Madison Elementary School District. Can I have a motion to adopt the agenda with the exception of the Pledge of Allegiance?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Spear, seconded by Mr. Holcomb. Please vote. Everybody voted? Are we good? There we go. The agenda has been adopted. And we have already done our pledge, and we have no scheduled executive session, so I'm going to move on to our presentations and recognitions. Yay. Dr. Guerin, please.
President Gresham, members of the board, cabinet, and guests, I'm pleased to welcome Anna Andrews, president of MDTCA, to the podium.
All right, thank you. The You Make the Difference and Shining Star Awards are presented by the Madison District Classified Certified and Classroom Teachers Association and Madison Administration to recognize the certified and classified staff who truly demonstrate Madison's vision of inspiring passion for learning and leading in an ever-changing world. All right, and our first You Make the Difference award recipient is Abby Stormer. Abby shares her passion for the Madison-Simus community through her dedication, innovation, and collaborative spirit. She started as a new teacher during 2020, meeting her first class in a virtual environment. While that was undoubtedly a challenge, Abby quickly formed a strong rapport with her class, teaching team, and school community. Since then, Abby continues to grow and help students thrive as an integral member of Madison-Simus. As a fourth grade teacher, Abby has consistently embraced new roles, including her current position as a co-teacher, working closely with a special education teacher. This role allows her to ensure that all students, including those with diverse learning needs, receive the support they need to thrive in the classroom. Abby's commitment to coordinating lessons and planning with her colleagues in the fourth grade professional learning community strengthens the educational experience for all students. She supports over 20 students with IEPs and makes sure that each of them is supported academically, socially, and emotionally in her classroom throughout the day. In addition to her classroom responsibilities, Abby, along with her colleague Deanna Woods, transformed the school's book room into an organized, functional space that benefits all teachers. Together, they also take on our school's spelling bee, making sure that all third and fourth graders have an opportunity to participate in this fun event. Abby's willingness to invest personal time and effort into improving the school is always for the benefit of her students. Abby is also known for her exceptional ability to connect with and support students who may be struggling or disengaged. Often described as a whisperer, she creates a nurturing classroom where students, especially those who may be perceived as defiant or even reluctant to attend school, can find refuge, gain confidence, and develop independence. Her classroom has become a space where students not only learn but flourish socially and emotionally. Furthermore, Abby contributes to the professional growth of the entire Madison-Simus community by serving on the Madison New Teachers Council. She shares her successful teaching practices and insights with new educators, while also remaining open to learning and refining her own methods. Abby's continuous reflection on her teaching and her collaborative approach help both her students and colleagues grow, making her a valuable asset to Madison-Simus. Abby truly makes the difference for everyone she interacts with, and we are honored to have her as a member of our community.
Wait, come back.
We're not done torturing you yet.
We're all done.
Want to say something or introduce your family? Or your staff, or just say hello?
Well, thank you for everyone for coming to support me. Thanks to my team for all you do to help with everything and to make me look good, and to my admin for being so flexible, and to my family for coming. Thank you.
Our next You Make the Difference Award recipient is Courtney Flowers. Getting to work in athleisure wear is an educator's dream, especially when the educator is a physical education teacher. Getting to have Courtney Flowers as that educator has been a dream for Madison Meadows, which is why she is the You Make the Difference recipient for our campus. This year, Coach Flowers took 3 new PE teachers under her wing, showing them what it means to be a dedicated educator. When teaching complex sports rules, she breaks steps down into an understandable skill and task, and then she differentiates even further for students who have mobility or motivation issues. Her goal as a physical education teacher is to introduce healthy habits to students in middle school so they become common practices in their adult lives. She's led by example not only for the newbie teachers, but also for all coaches and fellow athletic directors across the district. Coach Flowers is not just an athletic director. She is the life force of our school's athletic community. She does it all, coordinating games, coaching athletes, refereeing, and managing all the logistics with accurate precision and staunch commitment. Somehow, she still finds time to manage jerseys, stay late for games and banquets, and make each event feel like a special occasion for everyone involved. Over 50% of Meadows students participate in athletics, and that's largely thanks to Courtney's hard work. She has built an athletic program where every student feels seen, supported, and encouraged to learn, participate, and thrive. She masterfully balances hiring coaches, running meetings and trainings, managing tryout clearances, scheduling games and practices, overseeing referees, handling parent and student questions, maintaining social media and sports youth communication, hosting tournaments, ordering uniforms, and organizing awards banquets. Coach Flowers' impact isn't limited to our students. She also inspires our staff to lead healthier lives by organizing school-wide fitness and weight loss challenges, offering personal training advice, and helping us all to stay active and heart healthy. Her expertise as a personal trainer is a true gift to our staff. Courtney balances all of this while being an amazing girl mom to her daughters, who you'll often see at games in their little cheer outfits, showing how deeply her family is connected to our Ram family. Her daughters get to grow up watching their mom be a leader, a team player, and a positive role model. Meadows campus is better for having Courtney Flowers a part of it. Congratulations on your many accomplishments, including this one.
Today I'm here with my family, my husband, and my daughters, Scout and Remy. So thank you for being here. I just feel super grateful to be a part of Meadows. We've got the best admin. They're not only the most supportive, but they're so much fun. Best teachers, best staff around. It's great culture there. An amazing sports program. So thank you.
All right, and our first Shining Star Award recipient is Maria Garola. Maria is an invaluable member of the Madison-Simus community, earning recognition as a true shining star for her unwavering dedication and support across all aspects of the school. Maria started working for Madison-Simus last year as an instructional aide supporting our primary grades. In her role within the first and second grade team, Maria consistently goes above and beyond to assist both teachers and students. She is proactive in seeking out ways to support the team, always asking what needs to be done and ensuring that tasks are completed efficiently. Her positive attitude and willingness to help make her an essential part of the first grade team, and she doesn't hesitate to lend a hand to other teams when her students' needs are met. Maria also plays a key role in supporting the school's daily operations, often stepping in to cover duties for other aides, further demonstrating her collaborative spirit. Her students attend MTA, and after dropping them off each day, she will pop over to Simus to volunteer additional time beyond her contract hours to support school initiatives. She is always seen around campus with a smile, looking for creative ways to lend a hand and eager to jump in and help problem solve when needed. In the classroom, Maria has a special gift for making students feel loved, cared for, and valued. Her deep commitment to student success is evident in the way she checks in with the teachers to track each student's progress, ensuring that every student in her groups are receiving the attention and support they need. Maria is known for her flexibility, always adapting to meet the diverse needs of students and adjusting her approach to help them thrive. Our teachers feel Maria's support each day, and her impact on our students' academic growth is evident in both their test scores and confidence as they approach learning. Maria's contributions to the school go far beyond the classroom and her responsibilities as an instructional aide, and her positive impact is felt throughout the Madison-Simus community, making her a true shining star.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Just thank you. I'm really thankful for the Simus family that I've grown with. It's only been a year, but their love is just felt. I love it. I love showing up to work every day. Doesn't feel like work. So that's what I love. Yeah, thank you.
Just quickly to Dr. Guerin and the board, after this final award recipient gets her picture, I need you guys to stay up there for just a quick second. I promise it'll be quick. All right, it's our second coach for Madison Meadows. Bianca Bird, but everybody knows her as Coach Bird. Imagine working on a puzzle for hours and finally finding the piece that completes the picture. That's exactly how it felt when Coach Bird joined the MAC team at Madison Meadows. She fits so seamlessly into the fabric of the Ram fam that it seems as though she has been there for years. Her coworkers say she cares deeply about engaging with students and their families, and she has such a cool, down-to-earth personality that everyone who interacts with her feels super calm and comfortable around her. She is creative, dedicated, and has become an important member of our community at Meadows. She is a go-getter who actively seeks out opportunities and donations to make the MAC room safe, welcoming, and inclusive. Coach Bird started as a MAC club leader back in 2022 over at Madison Camelview. She quickly rose through the ranks, being promoted to assistant site coordinator in 2023, and then was promoted again in 2024 to be the middle school coordinator at Meadows. Coach Bird personally knows the impact a caring adult can have on the lives of students. Bird works hard to build connections with our middle school students and actively seeks ways to engage with them and let them know they are both seen and cared for. She continues to have high expectations of them, and students respect that about her. Since starting at Meadows, she has rebuilt her club leader team from the ground up and has hired and trained staff that understand middle school and truly care about Meadows students. She has built a program where students love to come and has balanced the need to support student learning, setting boundaries, and honoring students' need for rest and recharging before or after school. Students can come in and play foosball, giant Connect Four or checkers, do art projects, play sports, or just chill with their friends. Coach Bird has also implemented more student choice in the afternoons so students have the autonomy to choose their rotation after homework is done. Coach Bird has quickly integrated into the Meadows family. She rallied MAC to help support the Books for Africa drive and worked with the cafeteria manager to create a project to bring some food and agricultural knowledge to our MAC students after school. She has worked with the school's social worker and teachers to help support students both in MAC and check in with them during the day. She volunteers to help with rainy day schedules and monitoring parent drop-off on high needs days. When walking the halls, you can often hear students calling, "Coach Bird," to share something important with her. Thank you, Coach Bird, for fitting into our Ram Fam puzzle and completing us so flawlessly.
One more picture.
Forced to get a picture.
I just want to say thank you to the Madison family. I've only been here for a couple years, but getting to be at Camel View and Rose Lane and Meadows and each of those sites, I've made long-lasting friends, family. I have friends from Camel View who are here. I have my family here, friends who have helped teach me, just grow and be patient with me. And at Meadows, I feel like I've been there for years. It's weird to think I've only been there for a couple months, but that is just the atmosphere that they bring. Feeling that I have a home there, and feeling that I can go to anybody in that school and anybody in my community ed and ask questions and pick their brains about things, and they want me to succeed. They want our kids to have the best things, and being in that working environment and being in that family just drives me to bring the best out in my kids and my coworkers and my staff. So being a part of this team is amazing. And thank you guys.
Thank you.
Okay, really quickly, because this is our little MDCTA moment. We wanted to thank Governing Board Sarah Spear for all of her dedication to all of our teachers and staff. And on behalf of all of the certified and classified staff in MDCTA, we would like to make you an honorary member. Lifelong, and you don't have to pay dues. You don't have to pay dues.
We'll wear it proudly.
Yay! Okay, that's all.
Picture of the two of you with her.
Oh.
Yep.
Okay. I'll wear it to board meetings. I'll wear it to board meetings.
Wednesdays. Okay. Thank you so much. Congratulations to all our award recipients, and for your families for joining us. We have lots of more fun to come, but no need to stay.
President Spear, we noticed that I'm not on the agenda, so we might need to make a motion. Unless you'd rather me not.
Oh, neither of our reports are on there, are they?
Yeah.
Board members.
Board members are.
Oh,
Somehow I'm on the consent.
can I have a?
So you'd have to move me off the consent item?
Oh, can I have a motion to move superintendent's report up to the 5-point?
So moved.
Board docs are
Second.
having fun with us today.
Yeah, we checked it once. We checked it twice. But, okay.
Okay, I think I heard Ms. Spear motion and Ms. Thompson second. Oh, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. That has been approved. So, Dr. Guerin, would you like to make your superintendent's report?
I'm really glad you approved that. Thank you.
Noticing that. I was moving on to consent, but.
It is with deep appreciation and gratitude that we take a moment to thank Sarah Spear for her extraordinary leadership and unwavering dedication to the Madison Elementary School District. Sarah was first elected to the governing board in 2012, and she has since been reelected in 2016 and 2020, serving a total of 3 terms and over 12 years of distinguished leadership. As a Madison alum and a parent, Sarah has also had a strong connection to the community, and her commitment has made a lasting impact. In essence, Sarah is Madison. Sarah's leadership has been instrumental in shaping the district's success. She became active early on, leading key district campaigns such as Preserve Madison, which fought against school consolidation, and chairing the Yes, Yes for Madison Bond and Capital Outlay Override in 2009. She also played a critical role in securing some of our signature programs with others, including the International Baccalaureate Program and also Spanish Immersion. Sarah's contributions to the Madison Education Foundation are noteworthy. She served on its executive board for 4 years, including 2 years as president. This was before she did 12 years on the board. So if you're keeping up with the math, it is years and years of dedication to Madison. Additionally, she's been our spelling bee announcer for nearly a decade, if not more. No one wants the job. It is so tough, so you are not allowed to give that up. We've all decided. And in support of our efforts to return back to normal after COVID, Sarah taught classes and filled in as a substitute teacher, just really giving it our all during a really tough time. Sarah, your service has truly been impactful, and we are incredibly grateful your years of dedication to the community. Your leadership has left a lasting legacy, and we look forward to seeing the continued benefits of your work for years to come. On a personal note, Sarah, I want to sincerely thank you for your unwavering support and for believing in me. Your guidance and advice has been invaluable, and I still have your phone number. Thank you, Sarah, for your exceptional service and for making a difference in the lives of so many today and tomorrow. Thank you for your service. I do have 2 more items. Our own principal, Katie Clark, has made it to the next round for the exceptional Maricopa County Exceptional Principal Award. And so now she's a semifinalist, and she has to get interviewed with video interviewing. And we just know that she's going to be a finalist and have a site visit. So we're not really surprised at all, but we're really, really proud of her. And I think just hearing from some of our staff, the community and the feel that she has built in the school is known. So really grateful for her leadership. The other thing I wanted to mention is the State Board of Education has approved the release of the funds for Madison to be awarded 4 school resource officers for Madison Park, Madison number 1, Meadows, and MTA. So we will need to wait for the next steps, work with Phoenix PD. We understand there is a current shortage with police officers, but as of right now, the funds have been approved and released. So we'll continue to keep the community posted with that exciting news. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Guerin. I'll call on Mr. Holcomb now.
Thank you. I just wanted to congratulate Simus and all the kids and the teachers and the parents. They put on a phenomenal musical performance and at their age, and it was just great. In fact, I was almost in tears just looking at how much they were enjoying it, how good they were, and it really showed how much the impact of our arts programs and that has on the kids. And I'm looking forward to seeing those kids grow even more in doing that. I also wanted to congratulate Madison Park in participating in the Electric Light Parade. They were selected to participate in the Electric Light Parade with the go-kart, the electric go-kart that they built, and they also decorated it. And I saw them there, and they were just having a great time. And I really was moved tonight in particular. I am most every time we have it, but tonight, the award recipients, noting the support they get, the love they get, the culture that that they find at the schools. And that really brings me to the last thing. This is the last board meeting I'll have with Ms. Spear. I don't even know how many we've had together. A few. And some of them have been very interesting. We had a wonderful celebration for Sarah last night. The thing that came up, not only is she Madison, but just the love that she has for the Madison community, and then the love that the Madison community has for Ms. Spear, and it's very well deserved. So you will be very much missed, but you are a part of Madison that'll continue on. You will never be forgotten, or your what you have given to the district will live on for a long time. And we are what we are. Our culture is what we are. Our board culture is what it is, in a large part because of you. And I want to thank you for that.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Thompson?
Thank you. I want to echo the kudos to all the students who came today and performed. It was a wonderful performance, and really appreciate the time that their parents took in bringing them here, and the staff who came in support of them as well. So thank you for coming. Deeply appreciate. I was also moved by all the comments from the award recipients today. To hear about that. That community that isn't just at one campus, but at each one of our campuses is so meaningful. And I know as I've toured campuses, I see some of these people who receive awards, and who will come in on their time off to support their school, just to be there because they know parents are going to be coming through, or they know it's a big day for the school, and they're there for their students and for their administration, and that's so impactful. So I want to thank them as well. I know this is we're in the final home stretch before winter break, and there's a lot going on. I know at Park there's going to be a showcase tomorrow night for all of the students' electives. So there's going to be an art show, and I'm sure similar things are happening at all of our campuses. So thank you for doing that. Also want to congratulate Community Ed at Park and the 21st Century team for putting together, helping those kids get to the parade, but for all the work that they've done over the semester to support not only literacy after school, but also those programs, those integral programs. I know I've heard from a lot of kids that they've really enjoyed those programs. So thank you, Community Ed and Miss Jess, for all that you do. And finally, I want to thank Ms. Spear as well. The love for you that you have for this community is palpable. I know that speaking to you really helped move me to certainty to be on this board and to run for this board, and want to thank you for all of you have done over the years in support. As was said multiple times yesterday, your legacy will live on in this district and in students and alumni for years to come. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Thompson. And by request, I'm going to go next. I will start with, well, before I forget, I want to mention we had our safety town hall, which went very well, and both Ms. Spear and I participated, and so that is on the website, so I would encourage everyone to watch that. And I also got my first gig as a pronouncer at the Park Spelling Bee. And I have much more appreciation for Ms. Spear now, because that is very stressful. I've been a judge before, but not a pronouncer, so I'm going to try and fill some big shoes there. But so with that, thank you, Ms. Spear, for all you've done as a parent and a board member. Thank you for your leadership, your guidance, and showing me what it is to be a good board member. And so we really appreciate all you've done. I've known you much longer, since we were parents for a long time in the district, so I've known you. I've been, at the dais a few times, which probably you guys didn't always want me to be there, but, so yes, so thank you for all your many years of service, and we will be seeing you at the district spelling bee next month, so thank you so much. And now, Ms. Spear, go ahead.
Well, thank you very much. And I call them my bookends. My oldest and my youngest kids are here, and they can attest that I do actually practice the spelling words in advance. I don't let them see the words. That's kind of a running family joke that they're top secret. My kids think that's silly. But I do actually practice so that, I don't fumble the ball at the District B. Thank you so much for your kind words and for the goodwill and just the compassion. Yesterday evening was a lovely time to hear. Somebody joked that I got to hear my eulogy. Because everybody said such lovely things about me, and I think you all give me much too much credit. But I am filled with gratitude and wonder as I reflect on the last 12 years. It has been one of the most challenging yet rewarding experiences of my life, and I'm truly honored to have had the opportunity to contribute to Madison's growth and success. This journey has not always been easy. The challenges we faced as a district, most notably navigating the inaccuracies and the complexities of COVID, have tested us in ways that we never could have imagined. My North Star was and still is clear is kind, and transparency builds trust. These mantras have shaped my perspectives, my decision-making, and I believe strengthened our board's relationships with each other as well. While trust the data may not be as exciting or inspiring, it has been equally crucial. Data has provided us with clarity in times of uncertainty, guiding us to make evidence-based decisions and ensuring we stay focused on what truly matters, our students and our staff. Over the years, I've had the privilege of working alongside some of the most dedicated and compassionate individuals. To my fellow board members, both current and past, thank you for your partnership, collaboration, and shared commitment to public education that serves all comers, gifted, special ed, English language learners, immigrant, Arizona natives, religious, agnostic, artistic, sporty, or none. Public education is for everyone, and it must be protected from extremists of any stripe for the health of our community, our state, the nation, and our economy. To our incredible Madison teachers and staff, your resilience and passion for education have inspired me beyond measure. The relationships I've built with many of you have been a cornerstone of my time on the board, and they are relationships I will always cherish. I've thought about creating a board alumni club, and when you all roll off, we can all join the club and we can actually have a cocktail all together and not post it. I'm proud of what we have accomplished together, from navigating uncharted waters to seizing opportunities for innovation, growth, and improvement. We have worked diligently to ensure that Madison remains a district of excellence and a destination district. My heart is full, and despite all the challenges within public education, I remain deeply optimistic about the future because of you all. Thank you for the trust you have placed in me. It has been the honor of a lifetime. And I also wanted to say thank you to my family that is here, Brian Crane, my fiance, and then my son Bodie Pangborn and my daughter Ava Pangborn. Mac, my middle child, couldn't join us tonight, so I just wanted to say thank you to them for also being here and putting up with spelling bee practice time and Tuesday night meetings. I love you. That's all I have.
Thank you so much. And those spelling bee words are actually top secret. They're not allowed to be public until the spelling bee.
Thank you for validating my following the rules.
I also want to add that your leadership during the pandemic was inspiring as well. And yeah, so thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I guess we'll go on to the consent agenda.
Move to adopt the consent agenda as presented.
I have a motion. Can I have a second?
Second.
Moved by Mr. Holcomb, seconded by Ms. Thompson. Please vote. There it is. The consent items are approved. All right. And Ms. Humphries, do we have any calls to the public for the general meeting?
We have no calls to public.
Thank you. Okay, we'll go on to item 8.1. Dr. Guerin, would you like to introduce this item?
Thank you, President Gresham, members of the board, cabinet, and guests. I'd like to turn it over to Assistant Superintendent Barb Marshall to introduce the work of the Teacher Evaluation Committee and the new instrument.
Thank you, President Gresham, members of the board, members of cabinet. As you know from your years of service and certainly having your children in schools as well, the craft of teaching evolves and changes to meet student need, and our teacher evaluation rubric and how we train and support teachers needs to evolve along with that so that we're providing the best instruction for our students and the teaching and learning. So I'm really pleased at the work that the evaluation committee put together in coming up with a new tool that we bring forward tonight and we'll bring back in January for approval to start using next year. And our curriculum and instruction director, Laura Webb, led the committee in the work that we did, and I'm pleased to turn it over so that you can see those ideas.
Good evening, President Gresham, board members, Dr. Guerin, cabinet, and guests. Thank you for letting me talk a little bit about the new teacher evaluation instrument. We'll start there. Just to give you a little bit of context and history, the current evaluation instrument was adopted in 2013. So it is over 10 years old, and it included 5 domains, including planning and preparation, the implementation of instruction, the learning environment, teacher responsibilities, and a student growth category, which is required by state law, which is about 20%, well, it is 20% of the evaluation. When we were having these conversations, it became apparent that the methodologies and some things were outdated. There were complaints both from the teacher population and from administrators on that instrument, and we felt like it was time to really think about revising. And so we started with some goals for this tool. So one of the goals was to create a tool that had indicators that had current research evidence behind them. We wanted a tool that could be effectively used with all teachers in situations. We also wanted a tool that used a variety of evaluation methods. Our current tool was only observation in a classroom, and the new tool kind of expands the types of evidence to define what a highly effective teacher is, and also to create a tool that aligns and supports with the school and the district goals. So for this new rubric, we had a development timeline. My department started working on this last fall. We started to roll this out with the instructional leadership team in January, and we did some exercises in what the instructional priorities were for our district. Then we came back each month with a different exercise. We had rough drafts, we did different activities in different groups, rearranged the groups, had some lively debate about different indicators and how we wanted to present those and what was fair. We worked through the spring and made the continuing changes as we went through that. Starting in the beginning of this year, we wanted to utilize a committee that included administrative staff and teacher staff or certified staff to look at it, to give feedback, and then to take that to each of the sites to gain feedback from our certified staff. And so our teacher evaluation committee members met September through November for multiple sessions, and we revised and looked at the instrument and gained feedback. I wanted for a minute to tell you who was on this evaluation committee this fall. So you can see a variety of different individuals and different roles from different schools. I would like to highlight Julia Keffer from Madison Community Education preschool coach. She's the preschool coach. In addition to our K-8 teachers, Community Ed is also planning on using this instrument, which is really exciting. Our preschool program provides some of our best kindergarten students, and this will only strengthen that, knowing what the foundational teaching practices are in our K-8 schools and kind of rolling those down to preschool is really exceptional. And so very happy to have her on this committee and to present the feedback from that group of stakeholders as well. Okay, so this is the big slide. This is the outline of this evaluation instrument. There are 5 domains. The current evaluation also has 5 domains. This particular evaluation instrument has the four domains in planning, instructing, adjusting, and reflecting, and then the student growth, which again is required by law. Each of these standards have been developed based on research and based on what is good for Madison. The development of this rubric was from multiple different rubrics and places, not only in Arizona, but also across the nation. We've taken different aspects of different ones, and we haven't taken one and just duplicated it. We've taken parts of different ones and made it customized for Madison and what our instructional leadership team and the administrators who would use this instrument feel like is good for our teachers and good for our students. So we start with standard 1 with positive behavior. It really is modeled after PBIS. For standard 1, of course, state standards. Collaboration is included because that is a cornerstone of what we believe. We have teacher collaboration time, we have dedication to collaborating with each other, and we felt that was really important to have in there. Connections and relevance, making relevant learning for our students was an important piece. Engagement always, and feedback, and continuing with cognitive rigor and depth of knowledge. That wasn't in our last one explicitly, and we felt that was something that needed to be added. Data use is also another cornerstone of Madison in using data and looking at data, and we wanted that part of an evaluation tool in which we're promoting and we're encouraging teachers to look at formative data so that they can see what kids know and that can inform their practice in future lessons. Scaffolding and making sure everyone has access points into the lessons that we have. Professional development, and this is an area, professional development is part of professional attributes in our current rubric. We felt like it needed to have a singular standard in that professional development and the continuing to learn in all aspects, whether you're a teacher, a student, an administrator, anybody, was important, and we wanted to celebrate that and encourage that in this rubric. Advocacy and ethical behavior are two things that were added. Felt like that was a needed component as well to make sure that we are we're celebrating that and those good things that happen in our district. And then, of course, student growth percentiles. I do want to point out on the right side of this is something called evidence. Currently, in our current evaluation, what happens is an administrator goes into a classroom and watches a lesson, and they are evaluated on that lesson. In this rubric, that also occurs, but there are other opportunities for teachers to show that they're highly effective by other pieces of evidence that they collect through the year. It could be different lesson plans that show different pieces in case an administrator goes into a lesson and doesn't see something particular. An example that I will give you would be, as an administrator in a kindergarten class, feedback, giving a highly effective score in feedback on the current rubric required that students were giving peer-to-peer feedback. And if I'm evaluating a teacher in October or November on kids who are 5 years old and 6 years old, it is extremely difficult to see two students giving peer feedback, right? So that's just one example of where sometimes this was difficult for teachers to achieve mastery in different areas. And so this rubric also allows evidence of different pieces that can be used to show, yes, I wasn't there in October, but look, in April, these kids are talking to each other and saying why the product that is in front of them is good or not good, or giving good quality feedback. So that's just an example. On the rubric, this is what it looks like. The new features include a domain category, description of it, the evidence required, and the evidence could be either from an administrator, which the administrators are responsible for the observational piece of that, and teachers could also have evidence in certain domains that they are collecting. You have the performance categories, which is similar to what is currently in our rubric, and the indicators. And then the other thing that we added to roll out to teachers was research support for each of these standards. We wanted to make sure that teachers knew that what we were developing was rooted in evidence, was rooted in research and current educational practices that are known to be effective. And so with each of them was a whole list of evidence that attached to that standard, why this would be important and why we think this should be in a rubric. That got rolled out to all of the teachers and, well, to all of the committee to roll out to their teachers. So in your PDF, you have two different documents. One is the entire evaluation instrument, and it is lengthy. So it has all of the evidence pieces, it has all the attachments, so that it's very clear and transparent, all of the different things that we would be using. The second one is the rubric only, which is just the indicators, and that would be what a teacher would probably focus more on. But we wanted them to have everything so that they knew where things had come from. So the site feedback that we received, we had the committee meet multiple times. The second time, we gave them a presentation to roll out to their sites. Those committee members took it to their sites, and the administrators allowed them time in a variety of formats to deliver this information and collect feedback. What we asked is for the feedback to return in 3 different areas. One was questions. What questions did they have? What did we need to clarify that was not clear to them? The second was, what training did they think that was necessary for them? As a teacher looking at that, what was not clear? What were you not clear about or didn't know how to do or weren't sure what it meant that you thought that we needed training on? We wanted to make sure that teachers felt comfortable with this, and we want to make sure that we provide enough training and enough professional development on the instrument so that they're comfortable when this gets rolled out. And the third was the recommendations they had for us in instructional leadership team. What did they want administrators to know, what they were concerned about, so that we could address those with the leadership team to say, hey, we've got a lot of teachers who are really concerned about this thing. We need to make sure we're clear. We need to make sure that we have a really consistent message across all of our sites. We need to make sure that we are training so that they are comfortable. So those are the 3 aspects of the feedback that we asked for. And these were just some of the themes. So teachers felt like they wanted more training on feedback strategies, depth of knowledge, content connections, and scaffolding. I will say that what was really interesting was the different pieces of feedback and the concerns were varied across our campuses. For example, we had some sites with the connections, the content connections, that were hesitant about that. And we had 2 schools, specifically our IB schools, who had no problem at all with that, because that's ingrained into their culture, and that's something that they do on a very regular basis. And so they thought, oh, we know how to do this. This is great that it's included in it. But other sites have hesitation because that's not part of their normal operating. Another example, though, on the flip side of that is we have Madison #1, who's done a lot of work this year so far in deconstructing and kind of breaking down standards and doing what we call learning intentions and success criteria in lessons. And that's language that they're very familiar with, and they were like, this is great. And we have other sites that haven't done that yet. And they're like, what is this all about? So we really had to take the feedback and look at, okay, generally speaking, what is it that we want to make sure that we are consistent with and what we have common language across all sites with. And the administrator considerations included, again, training for staff, consensus and clarity on the terms, and if we are collecting evidence, what does that collection look like? What's the system that we're using? How are we going to do that? And these are all things that we will have discussions in ILT in the spring and come to consensus by the end of this year, so that rolling into next year, we have a very clear and concise way of delivering that learning to the teachers, or that new information to the teachers. The last thing that I'll just share with you is one of the pieces of feedback from the teachers was that it seemed very long. They're like, this is a really long instrument. It seems very overwhelming. Part of that was because we included everything with it, right? It was close to 30 pages, really long. But when you break it down, if you look at the left-hand side, there are 18 components to the current evaluation. There are 13 components in the new one. They're just rearranged in a different way. And so that will take a little bit of just tweaking on our, from our certified staff to get used to. So that is all I have. Do you have any questions or comments?
Thank you, Ms. Webb, for your work on this and your presentation, and extend our thanks to the whole committee as well for all this. It seems like a very process. Any questions or comments? Mr. Holcomb?
Just clarification, when will obviously this is not going to be used this year, correct?
No.
And is it looking to be implemented fully next year?
Yes. So we'll spend the spring getting the instructional leadership team doing the recommendations from the committee, making sure that we are consistent and across all administrators. We'll do some inter-rater reliability and some practices, and then in the fall we will roll this out to, it's already available for teachers to look at, but there'll be training specifically in different components of it in the fall to be starting to be used in the fall. 2025, 2026.
The other question I had, just in relation to the weighting of the different areas, was there a lot of discussion? Because you've also reorganized it as well, too, but how was that determined?
Well, the very last slide, the color coding is where those specific things went into the new one. So we wanted to show that, and we looked at the different pieces of weighting and tried to weigh them similarly in the next one. So it's just rearranged a little bit differently. Student growth had to stay 20. The reflection and the professional development, we knew that, and that was similar to teacher responsibilities, so we kept that at a relative similar percentage. And then the rest of them were just reorganized in a different fashion.
Yeah, and I think as you're presenting this too, making that clear, I think is going to be important, because if you, at first glance, particularly related to the other one, looks like there's a great deal of weight put on planning, which I don't think is wrong, but versus implementation, and just I think making that clear, I think is going to be important.
Okay, thank you.
And besides the concerns that, how do you feel as from the teachers? They haven't been subjected to this yet or gone through it.
They haven't had the opportunity, Mr. Hall.
Yeah, but they're right, at the opportunity. They haven't had the opportunity to have this. How do you think, buy-in is always very important, I think, and sort of what's the focus on the buy-in, and what, how do you feel about that? What have you gotten feedback on?
The feedback that we received from the committee based on their presentations, we didn't get a lot of feedback from teachers. There wasn't a preponderance of feedback. The feedback that we had was pretty consistent with what I shared with you across the different sites. The committee, I will say, was very positive. We had teachers on that committee that were very happy with that evaluation system, moving from what is known sometimes to be a dog and pony show, where you just you get the best lesson you can, so that's the one you do for your evaluation, and maybe it's not the same all year long. And we wanted to get away from that, and teachers were happy to get away from the pressure of having someone in your room one time or two times. They wanted to show that there's stuff they do all year long. So there are some that are a little overwhelmed with that, and then there are others that are really happy to be able to have that opportunity to collect things and to show. And so I think it's going to be education, right? It's going to take, look, this is a benefit to you. This is your opportunity to show all these different things that you're doing. And the biggest thing that I think administrators and us in leadership, we in leadership are really trying to get across, is that an evaluation instrument should not be a gotcha. It should not be a one and done. It should be continual improvement. It should be continual, where I'm getting feedback from people and I'm improving and I'm getting better at my craft and helping teachers get there. So that's the ultimate aim of all of this, and trying to make sure that that's the messaging coming across from administrators to our certified staff is essential.
And I guess that just the last point on that too, I think it's essential, and having a very clear plan to integrate this into the PLC, so that it can be a way to drive performance as well as evaluation.
I agree.
Thank you very much for all the effort, and this is great.
Thank you. Ms. Thompson?
I just want to piggyback off of some of those statements and say, I know I can appreciate what a huge lift this is to do this, and really appreciate that time was taken to make it our own, and to take the best parts from all over and make something that's uniquely Madison. I think, what gets measured gets done, and I think being able to lean in on places that are tied to our institution's core values are really important. And I think, as you just said, leaning into this isn't a gotcha, just like, one test isn't going to, dictate how students are doing teaching, it shouldn't be the same for educators, right? It should be the same for educators, that how they are working throughout the year, how they're improving, they're learning, they're growing, just like they're teaching and growing our students is so important. So, thank you for all the work on this. I look forward to seeing implementation. As you brought up, Mr. Holcomb, the issue of the instructing domain being at 25%. Really, planning, instruction, and adjusting are all part of that instruction. It's part of being prepared, delivering, and then adjusting and bringing that back to students. So while the number in instruction is really 25%, I see it way higher than that. When I see how each of these domains is really described, I see how they're integrated more than just one moment in time, something you've seen in a classroom. So thank you and the entire team for all the work.
Ms. Spear, anything?
Just thank you for the presentation, for the evaluations instrument, and for obviously including such seasoned teaching veterans on the evaluation committee. That right there is it lends such credibility. So thank you.
Thank you. Yes, I was going to point out as well what Ms. Thompson mentioned, because it seems to me like the instructing and adjusting the new domains are both part of implementation. So I think maybe that helps Mr. Holcomb too, as far as those are kind of similar. So okay, thank you so much. Okay, we have a jam-packed day today. I'm going to take a quick, before we move on, we do have 3 action items, but there was one other thing I wanted to mention about Ms. Spear, is that, because I just learned this last night, and Ms. Causey was at the celebration last night, so she's not, so everybody knows, she's not snubbing Ms. Spear today, and she gave a very lovely speech. But I learned that Ms. Spear was pretty much responsible, more or less, for getting the Spanish immersion
Take all the credit on that one. I was part of a team, and Ms. Kazi was one of them. So, and as were these wonderful administrators that advocated for that program, and as well as the parents like yourself. So when she said that, I'm like, oh, Mitra, that's not quite,
Yes. So yes.
Yeah,
so
that made me.
so,
Yeah. No, that was very much a team effort.
Well,
but.
thank you for advocating for it, because as a parent, and my kids were starting at Heights, and when I learned that our home school was going to be the Spanish immersion school, I was like ecstatic. I was like, that's the best thing ever. So I appreciate you advocating for that. And so yeah, that was a funny story I heard last night about you and Mitra. So just want to point that out too.
May I mention that at the time when I started on the governing board, and Ms. Marshall and Ms. Garvey will remember this, as will Mr. Merrill, who was at the time, I think, a 4th grade teacher at Madison CIMS, bilingual education was illegal. You were not allowed to teach Spanish in school, but it was being done between the lines at many schools across the valley. And once that finally became moot, and I can't exactly remember when that happened, but luckily that stupid edict fell, and that's when we were able to get Spanish immersion. So that's all. Just a little piece of history.
Thank you.
And if I can, may I just have a point of order? If my family would like to leave, you are able to.
I think they should stay through your last meeting.
We only have a few more agenda items.
We're almost there. They've been this long. Let them finish a meeting.
They're probably hungry, as am I. But okay, so yes, just wanted to point that out. Thank you. Yes. So no. Okay. Where are we? We are on 9.1 District Council. Dr. Guerin.
President Gresham, members of the board, cabinet, and guests, this is the second time we've brought the calendar forward, and I will turn it over to Ms. Marshall, though we haven't had any feedback.
Thank you, President Gresham, members of the board, and members of cabinet. You'll remember at the last meeting, our administrators, Priscilla Gossett and Amber Sherman, presented the work of the committee, including the survey results that not only went out to staff, but went out to families as well to provide input. And parents actually served on the committee, as Dr. Guerin shared, we have had no additional input since that information item, and tonight we do ask that you approve the next 3 years' worth of calendars for the school district.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from the board? Can I have a motion to approve the calendar?
Move to approve the district calendars for school year 26, 27, and 28.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Thompson, seconded by Mr. Holcomb. Please vote. I feel like we should play the Jeopardy music or something while these are coming up. If anybody wants to sing it, feel free. And that has been approved. Thank you again to the calendar committee for their work on that.
Maybe instead of Jeopardy, we could do hot cross buns.
Yes. Still have the xylophones? That would be cool. Okay, 9.2, Dr. Guerin.
President Gresham, members of the board, cabinet, and guests, Madison continues to look for funding sources and grants to augment our curriculum, and we continue to innovate. So I'm excited to introduce 9.2 Khan Academy Agreement presented by Ms. Marshall.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the board, and members of cabinet. I know normally agreements are part of the consent agenda, but we were excited through the work of the Madison action teams and looking at strategic initiatives that would align to our district plan for our goal area 1, future focused learning. We knew addressing middle school intervention was an area of focus for the district, and so to find a tool that will really help us with middle school intervention is really exciting. And a huge thank you to our curriculum instruction team led by Laura Webb, who was able to secure the Khan Academy agreement. And so Ms. Webb was going to share just a few words about what the program will entail. And she seemed surprised. That was probably a miscue on that.
That's okay.
But we're really excited about this opportunity for our middle school students.
So we are able to have a partnership with Khan Academy, and specifically a program called Khanmigo, which is AI enhanced. It is a partnership with ADE, so ADE will cover the cost for 18 months for us. For this program, we are going to specifically use it in middle school math as a tool for math intervention. So this particular program serves two purposes. One is that it will support our students during guided study or tiered support time. It will auto-roster all of our students, and it will automatically link their NWEA map data and create a personalized learning pathway for them. And so when they log in, it has created that pathway. That can be altered if a teacher wants to give specific or alter any of those lessons. That can be done too, but it will tailor practice problems for students. And the benefit is if a student gets stuck, it can ask for help, and they have it's basically like a chat bot, right, that will give them help. It has text to speech and speech to text, so a student can speak into it, and it will write the question. When it replies, it will put it in text, and it will highlight the words and read out loud for our lower readers. It is designed for in our district, 5th through 8th grade students only. It is not available for our younger students. It provides real-time feedback. It does not give them the answers. It prompts them and scaffolds the problem down to a level that they can respond to, and then really looks at what their thinking is and sees where mistakes are and makes, I guess, educated assumptions about where they're making those mistakes and corrects them so that they can get the right answer and move along. So that's one aspect of it. The other piece that will be helpful are the teacher AI tools in this particular program. Teachers have the availability to put a standard in and ask it questions Some of the applications are getting real-world examples of math applications to be able to use with students. They may be able to put in a standard and get some assessment questions for exit tickets for their Tier 1 instruction, their core instruction, or their Tier 2 instruction. And they could help scaffold lessons and create some different ways to access the standard. And just it will be a help in the planning process for teachers, specifically in math. The only other thing I would say is that a large component of this and something that we take very seriously is privacy. And that is something that when we're looking at AI, we're looking at data privacy, we're looking at the different things that for our district and for our kids to make sure that they're safe. The content in Conmigo is in a closed system, meaning that it's not used to train any of the models. And that is across the board considered the safest. And it's also, been vetted, and the program itself is widely used across the nation and held in pretty high regard. The other thing I would say is it has modernation technology, and that is similar to our Lightspeed. So if there's any inappropriate interactions in the chat feature, it will automatically flag a parent and teacher on what's going on, and then you can take appropriate action. So, and all the chat history is visible to students, parents, and guardians, and that is made very well known to students as they're using it. So, any questions for me?
Thank you. Awesome. I approve. And thank you for pointing out the safety features. I think that is very important as well. So any questions?
Yes, I do have a question. You thought you were going to escape. This is your evening. You present. No, I want to make sure I was clear on something in this, because you said this is only 5th grade above. What struck me is when we had our SIAPs, there's a lot of issues, particularly in math, of having the basic skills, the 2nd and 3rd and 4th grade skills in math to be able to go forward. And this system would seem to be perfectly set to really help accelerate or advance those students who are having the trouble at that point. Is that available, or is it still in development? Because if this works well, I would think that would be a great use of this type of technology.
Conmigo is specifically for 5th through 12th grade students. It's not designed for anything lower. The company does not provide Conmigo for any grade level lower. Khan Academy can be used. That's another program within the Khan Academy group of programs that is available, and some of our teachers use it. I think when we're looking at foundational skills of math, the gold standard is a teacher in front of you and giving one-to-one, using manipulatives, being able to touch and come from a concrete to an abstract representation of mathematics, and that's from a research position the strongest place to come from. And a lot of parents of elementary students are concerned about their time on computers and not in front of a teacher. So that's also something to take into consideration. But to answer your question about this program, it's only designed for 5th through up. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Ms. Thompson?
I'm just going to make a motion.
Oh, anything else? Okay.
Move to approve the Khan Academy agreement as presented.
I will second that. Moved by Ms. Thompson, seconded by Ms. Spear. Please vote. One quick question, maybe Ms. Marshall can answer real quick while we're voting, is so this will be offered and hopefully used by all our middle schools, correct?
That is correct. The license will be for each individual student, 5th through 8th grade, can be used during school time as well as outside of school time. They will have their own individual license.
Oh, wow, great.
May I ask a follow-up question? Will that also apply for all of our students that are taking Algebra 1?
Every 5th through 8th grade student will get a license.
Awesome, thank you.
And that motion passes. Thank you. And thank you, ADE, for supplying, for paying. Okay, we'll move on to 9.3. Dr. Guerin, go ahead.
President Gresham, I'll turn it over to Ms. Garvey.
One more time.
Sure. Good evening, Madam President, members of the board, Dr. Guerin, and Cabinet. This agenda item for the revised budget is asking the board to approve the presentation and the revised budget presented at the public hearing.
And assuming we have no other comments or questions since our public hearing, I will take a motion to approve.
So moved.
I will second.
Moved by Ms. Thompson, seconded by Ms. Spear. Please vote. And that passes. We'll go on to 10.1. Dr. Guerin, future meetings.
President Gresham, members of the board, cabinet, and guests, our next meeting will be January 7th, so just the day after we return from winter break. That will be our board organizational meeting, where we will do assign all the duties. We will have a short information item, a Native American program presentation. Then on January 21st, we will have Madison #1 Middle School as the school showcase, and we will have a budget update from Ms. Garvey, and we will bring back the teacher evaluation instrument for your approval at that time. And we have slated for board evaluations in February 4th, and we will welcome our new board member, January 7th, Brett Hunt.
Yes, thank you. So no showcase or awards on the 7th, correct?
Correct.
And so current and future board members, be thinking about what wonderful roles you want to play in January. And speaking of, oh, thank you. Anything else? Do we have any questions or anything on the, Ms. Thompson?
I just wanted to add one thing because I forgot to do it during the announcements, if I could, to thank Chef for the wonderful food last night. It was delicious. That caramel should be bottled. It was fantastic. So I just wanted to stick that in here because I know we often, to tie it into this item, we often get food when we come early for board meetings. So that's how I'm in my mind tying this to
Thinking
thank
about it
Chef.
I was going to ask Ms. Garvey if Chef Alfonso would put the caramel recipe in the weekly update.
Yes, I did request that. Yeah, thank you. Yes, Chef Alfonso's amazing. I would go home and talking to my kids about him. They're like, "Who's Alfonso?" I'm like, "He's awesome."
My son had one and he called it liquid gold. So
Yes. Thank you for that. And I will take a motion to adjourn. This will be my last adjournment as president this year, so my last full meeting.
I would like to move that we adjourn.
second.
Moved by Ms. Spears, seconded by Ms. Thompson. Please vote. And Ms. Spears' final vote.
And President Gresham, thank you for leading us.
Absolutely. I hope I did it justice. Thank you. And we are adjourned.
It's a tradition.
We're still adjourned anyway. Thank you.